It happened to me too. Thank you so much for sharing. I thought I was the only one. I didn't know it mattered. I didn't know I mattered. I'm sure when you hear this, the first thing that comes to mind is women and sexual harassment in the workplace. While my talk has nothing to do with sexual harassment, it has everything to do with women and harassment in the workplace. And not just any workplace, a workplace founded on love and equality. The church. Last year, I endured a life-changing event when I lost my pastor. The devastation that I felt was only amplified by losing my church as well. After his burial, a meeting was called by one of the highest officials within our district. I will never forget his immense gaze as he locked eyes with me and said, "We have decided to retire the church. The ministry is not at a point where we are comfortable with female pastors." I would love to stand before you and tell you how my faith brought about my healing, but what actually led to my healing was finding out that I wasn't alone. Once I started sharing my experiences, I ran into countless women who confided in me with their own versions of, "It happened to me too." I read blogs where women were devastated at the fact that they couldn't become monks. I viewed discussions where women of Islam addressed how religiously prohibited laws were overly or misused, all in an effort to keep women out of religious leadership, confirming in me that this was not a Christian faith issue. This was a people of faith issue. Despite the fact that the Equal Pay Act of 1963, which made it illegal to discriminate based on sex, major religious bodies such as Jewish Orthodox, Latter-day Saints, Missouri Synod Lutheran Church, Muslim, Orthodox Church of America, Southern Baptist Convention, and the Roman Catholic Church still currently forbid female ordination. While I am not here to speak negatively about denominations, I am here to share my thoughts on some of the potential ramifications that gender exclusion and religious leadership may have. I am here to help eradicate the religious message that women aren't qualified to lead men. I am here to help bring the echoes of "it happened to me too" to an end. When qualified women are not permitted into religious leadership, it can imply that something is wrong with them, that they are somehow inadequate. This can have a direct correlation in how they are treated or even perceived by the opposite sex. But most importantly, it can impact how a woman views her own self-worth. Remember, in Christianity, God created both male and female in his image, meaning that you cannot see the full image of God without looking at both man and woman. So the more you try to suppress the image of woman, the more you actually suppress the image of God. Societies could be transformed by the inclusion of women in religious leadership. Women could use this platform to discuss taboo subjects in the church, such as rape, molestation, abortion, domestic abuse, or even promiscuity, finally offering a woman's point of view. The exclusion of women in religious leadership could have a direct correlation to the gender leadership gap outside of the church. I am reminded of an incident where a less qualified male candidate was promoted over me at work. It isn't the gender bias that stimulates my recollection, but rather a particular conversation that I had with a decision maker. A conversation where he expressed he was a deacon at his church and how he found it disturbing that women would seek leadership positions over men. When your ethical principles teach you that men are supposed to lead over women, it can correlate into the business world. My motto in management is never bring me a problem without a solution. So I want to offer one way that we can all promote change within our circles of influence. We must challenge misinterpretations often utilized to promote male superiority. such as scripture found in the book of Timothy where it states that women should not lead over men. Many religious leaders apply these texts as the golden rule without acknowledging that these are letters being written from one person to another addressing specific situations. Situations such as women not leading men because most women weren't formally educated at that time. However, phenomenal female leaders are mentioned in the Bible. It's just their stories are seldomly told. There is mention of Priscilla, the businesswoman, Deborah, the judge, Huldah, the prophet, Phoebe, the deacon, Philip's prophesying daughters, and even Tabitha, the risen. It was women who delivered the first sermon and women who first shared the gospel message, He has risen. It is up to us to break these misinterpretations by sharing the stories of these extraordinary women to help inspire the next Lisa Harper or Beth Moore. I know there may be several of you present who believe this talk doesn't pertain to you because you aren't religious. But religion is integrated into our everyday lives regardless if you are religious or not. Don't believe me? What is the official motto of the United States? In God we trust. It is printed on all U.S. currency. And you know what? You don't have to be religious to spend it. In fact, I have never handed someone money and had them reply, I can't accept that. I'm not religious. Afghanistan, Denmark, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Iraq, Fiji, Samoa, and so many other countries have national mottos or even governing statutes similar to our own that incorporate the word God. And I can bet your bottom dollar that not all of their citizens are religious. In these circumstances, I believe that God is supposed to be a representation of the connection of humanity. This is not a discussion aimed to draw you into a religious debate. This is a discussion aimed to reframe how we view gender inequality and overall humanity. A discussion shedding light on how gender exclusion and religious leadership can impact women and leadership as a whole. A discussion aimed to bring the echoes of "it happened to me too," centered around gender exclusion, to an end. So it is up to us to reframe their caged-in mentality. Because God so loved the world, He chose to birth His message through she. Thank you.